Sweet November is finally here, and with our best October ever in the rear view, those still with tags greet the new month with reset expectations. Only Owen Riegler is sidelined for the month, having punched both of his tags on Iowa Giants. With the rut now on our doorstep, everyone has a buck to hunt, but like our quarry, all attention is on the does. Showcasing the exact scenario we are all chasing, Justin Karn's hunt on Halloween saw a doe bring by his stand the Big 8, and what followed isn't exactly what was hoped for. After 2 different attempts so far at recovering the buck, the early hours of November 1st saw Justin head back home empty-handed. Deciding to take the morning off with hopes of acquiring another tracking dog, Justin and Drake welcomed November 1st by biding their time. That same morning, 159 miles to the east, Gavin Koterba is back on the Iowa public land hunting in a historically active stand.
November 1st, finally here. Super excited to be out this morning. It's a beautiful, calm, crisp morning. High pressure's like 30.4. I mean, it's crazy. Sitting over this crossing. This is the spot we actually left the stand that we've been hunting out of the past few hunts. It's actually right across the way, about 30 yards away. But with a south wind today, the wind has been north the past few days, northwest. Switched to southwest this morning, so it's blowing back towards this slough behind us. This is the tree that Ethan and I had that encounter with that double split 2 buck 2 years ago. Need some redemption out of this spot, so fingers crossed. That bladed 8 was on this crossing yesterday morning. He was with a doe, so who knows where they went. And we also got that 6x5 on camera in the morning yesterday on the other side of this bedding area, so you never know. A lot of deer should be filtering through here, coming back from ag fields and stuff, so. Beautiful morning, November 1st. Couldn't be more pumped to be out here. Hopefully we can make it happen.
While Gavin daydreams of the bladed 8 lurking behind a doe, that same morning, back in southern Iowa, Bryan Brown and I are again set up in the same redneck blind.
Back at it this morning, November 1st, sweet November in Iowa. This is definitely the place you want to be in November. We're back in the redneck in the food plot. I think this is our 4th sit in this spot. No wind, perfect to do some rattling, grunting. And hopefully it'll go down this morning.
phenomenal sit this morning. It was really cold, like 17 degrees, and as soon as this ice started kind of melting off, man, the deer were moving like crazy. We rattled in a couple bucks. We had gray face right here at about 32 yards, and finally seeing what I was all about. But regardless, we're getting on into November, so it's the excitement's getting high.
With the heavy frost burning away, both our and Gavin's deer movement carried well into the late morning. Making adjustments, Gavin gets down, shifting to a different spot, one he calls the duck pond.
We've been set up for about a half an hour or so. Actually had a fawn pop out of the bedding right here and just feed for a few minutes and then dip back in there. Being this tight too, multiple bedding areas. There's basically a bedding area off to my right, bedding area off to my left. We should see some good movement. But the nice thing about this spot is we got a south wind. It's been north winds for the past few days. And it's blowing basically straight, perpendicular, I guess you could say, with the two bedding areas. So we're expecting most of the travel to be this way, whereas the wind is blowing straight that way, and there's like a big open, dried up duck hole type of thing that we actually access through. And it's basically blowing just right along the edge of that. And there's a bunch of thick stuff. I just don't expect deer to be along the edge of that. So it's a really good way to blow this wind. We'll see. Hopefully we can lay eyes on something tonight at the very least and make a game plan. If not, get an arrow in one. I can definitely do
With young bucks on their feet cruising, Gavin settles in with high hopes for the remainder of his sit. That same evening, 160 miles to the south in northern Missouri, Aidan and Avery Epperson are making their way back to the recently acquired permission property dubbed the Brush Farm.
Well, guys, it's finally November 1st. Sweet November is here. Avery and I are back on the Brush Farm after stick tight. We elected to come here just kind of out of spite of the wind being right for the first time in a few days. So we climbed in the northwest plot here in the stand that we encountered him in last week. And we haven't had him on camera. I think the last time was yesterday at 1 o'clock, but he was way on the south part of the farm, headed west. We haven't had him back over here on this part, but nonetheless, the wind's perfect for it. We can slip in here nice and easy after work, probably do some calling. You know, maybe he'll make an appearance. There's also 210, and with the rut, anything could show up. We could have a new deer, especially with all the CRP, all this bedding, all the does. You never know what's going to show up. So we're going to sit tight and see what the evening brings us. We're excited.
It's not him, is it?
Is it him?
Can't tell. heard it.
Is it him?
There's no way that's him.
Okay, no, it's not him. Don't move. To your left. I see him.
Get a range on him. It's gonna have to be quick, whatever you do. Go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it. Draw. You got him.
Go down.
Quit shaking the tree.
He's gonna go down right there. Get ready, he's gonna go down right there.
Was he quartering to a little bit, maybe?
No, he was broadside. I think I just might have hit him back in the liver, maybe.
He's gonna go in there and he's gonna bed down and die, so
Yeah.
I'm about to lose him in the camera.
He's walking down that path. You talk about wild. Oh my gosh. We just got in the tree. We just got in the tree. We had a couple does filter through, a small buck. I mean, it's 3:30, 4 o'clock maybe. I was just sitting here, I looked up, and I thought it was him, a buck, down exactly where he just stood for a little bit. I seen him from the back in the binos. I was like, Avery, it's him, it's him. Grabbed the grunt call, grunted. Avery's like, I don't think that's him. Looked through the binos, sure enough it wasn't. I no more, I sat down, just It wasn't him. I looked to my left and he popped out right here at 35 yards. He was just, I mean, he was just through here and he caught us red-handed, just looking for that grunt. We had to, it felt like forever. I had to pick the bow up off the thing and finally was able to get a shot at him at about 25, 26 yards. I thought it was perfect. It might be just a touch back, but he's not toting that. He ran down here. We watched him bed down just at the end of the CRP. That is insane. That is nuts. That is exactly what we were hoping for to happen. We knew he's been in this area. He's been in here thick and heavy. It's all paid off. November 1st. Dude, that's freaking awesome. On the new farm, all the hard work pays off. I can't help but laugh. That's great. That's awesome.
Though convinced the shot is lethal, watching the buck's rapid tail flicking is an indicator of a liver shot which requires more time. Deciding to back out and play things safe, Aidan and Avery head back to the truck. Back on the Iowa public land, Gavin is trying to create some luck of his own.
Well, it's about 6:15. I only saw one more spike since all those younger bucks came through. It's good to see that much movement. That tells me that there's definitely most of the deer are going to be bedding back in this stuff. We're going to come back here in the morning, probably just leave this set up. We'll catch you guys in the morning unless we see something else here.
As Gavin's hunt comes to an end, 95 miles to the west, Drake Lamb is on stand with Justin behind the lens. Having taken the morning off to secure a tracking dog, word was received that the track will not take place until well after dark. Deciding to make the best of the day, Drake is taking a shot at the non-typical giant he calls the flyer buck.
About the last 40 minutes, we haven't seen anything but a fawn, so that's normally about how it goes on this farm. You never see much anything. Might as well crack him and see if we can't get him coming.
That's our number one deer right there. Wait. If he would have just came right down the foot plot, just like he did this morning, it would have been 40 yards. It would have been perfect, but he wasn't terrible spooked. What a giant, though.
Following the great encounter, the guys resume focus on picking up the trail of Justin the Big 8. Tracking blood for over 1,300 yards, eventually it dries up and the track leads them into one of the thickest bedding areas on the property. Suspending the search until the morning, the duo head home for another sleepless night. The following morning, November 2nd, finds Mike Reed back on stand for his first hunt of the new month.
Thursday, November 2nd. My first sit of November. I had to work the last 2 days. Still pretty excited, reveling in our success getting DK down on October 30th. We have a south-southwest wind this morning, and it's actually about 20 degrees. It's really cold. It's a little bit warmer than yesterday, and the pressure's kind of coming down with this southerly wind. We're gonna have a couple days like this, but we're on this 28-acre piece that I have that we replanted the CRP this year, so we're back in here trying to lay eyes on Rocky, and we'll be bouncing around, trying to get a feel for different things, but we're gonna spend the morning out here, and it's a perfect setup. I got this little red oak tucked in the corner, big ravine going down to the river, and our wind just blows right back over the river, so it's a really nice calling setup. And it's November 2nd, so you never know what's going to happen.
While Mike waits to see what the calling sequence may provide, back in northern Missouri, Aidan Epperson is taking up the trail.
Well guys, I believe we just found stick tight. We were sitting here looking through the CRP with no luck, and with his last bed being right here on the edge, I finally just took a deep breath and was like, what do deer do on a liver hit? They go to the creek, they go to water. So I was like, well, that looks like the path of least resistance. Sure enough, I walked in there and he was laying over the edge right there. I haven't gone to take a look at it. Avery came down here, so we're gonna ease in here and go get our hands on it. Dude.
Yep, I'd say he was probably dead last night.
That is a freaking toad. Got them awesome extras, the dagger there. Woo! Well guys, the stars aligned perfectly yesterday afternoon. Was able to finally get an opportunity at stick tight with kind of a crazy scenario of events there. Thinking another deer was him and then turning and there he was. But I'm tickled pink to be sitting behind this, what we believe to be a 5.5-year-old deer on the new farm. He's just an awesome deer. Got all kinds of things going on. Thank you to Avery for filming me and being here. Thanks for Tyler for the opportunity to get to go in on this new farm and be partners on it, and thanks to Midwest Whitetail for everything that they do. We greatly appreciate it. It's all for moments like this, to be sitting right behind big mature bucks, and this is what we live for.
While the Eppersons celebrate recovering the Missouri Giant, back in Iowa, a search party is assembled to comb the thick bottom where the last blood of Justin's Big 8 was found.
Sometimes them crows find them, sometimes they don't, but...
That was literally one of the most intense, insane encounters I've ever had in the deer woods. We're in here looking for Justin's buck. I was creeping up in here and I saw one of the bucks that's on our hit list, the big, wide, gnarly, mature 8-pointer. And he was on the other side, so I gave him a snort wheeze and he came right up in, and I bet he was 5 freaking yards. If that doesn't tell you that the rut's on here in Iowa, then I don't know what does, but insane.
Though experiencing one of the most intense moments we've ever witnessed in the woods, the morning for Justin and Drake ends on a somber note when the guys again come up empty-handed. Now wrapping up the 4th attempt to recover the buck, at this point Justin has exhausted his options. As gut-wrenching as it is, the hope lies in being able to watch for crows and other scavengers or wait on spring when visibility is better to recover the deer. Treating it as if his tag is punched, Justin's attention now shifts to exchanging the bow for the camera and shadowing Drake. As Drake and Justin hit the reset button, back in southern Iowa, Kaleb's coming off of a solid first morning on the new permission property. After speed scouting the past few days, Kaleb's already located a new giant to focus his efforts on. Shifting gears for the afternoon, Kaleb's recruited a decoy and sneaks in for a high anticipation hunt.
We snuck out here back close to where we were coming out from this morning's sit. When we were coming out, and I saw a really good buck. It could have been the one that we were in there hunting this morning, but he was a tank, and we're pretty much set up close to his area. It looked like he was with a doe, so we decided to bring the decoy. So he either comes by with a doe, or don't. But there's a lot of other big deer out here, aren't there, Shay? It's nice seeing deer for a change. Feel very fortunate. So beautiful out. I'm wishing for colder weather, but looks like it's going to be warmer weathers later this week. I don't think that's really going to affect the movement. I think it's going to be really good. So see what comes out tonight.
Across the state in eastern Iowa, Mike Reed is also making an adjustment for the afternoon. Deciding to head back to a stand location that he knows holds a high number of does, Mike takes advantage of stealthy access provided by a nearby slough.
we have made the move to the River Bottom Farm. We're down next to the central timber, and we have this old farm lane that comes out of the timber and heads off to the ag fields. And this whole lane is just littered with red oaks that have dropped tons of acorns. So there's been just piles of does right here. And last time we sat here, we saw over 20 does and fawns. This time of year in the afternoons, one strategy is to, quote unquote, hunt the does. And this camera, every evening, there's just bunches of them walking out on here, so it's been very consistent. The primary buck we're after is Fitzmagic. He is, in my estimation, a 7.5-year-old buck. He's a 6x7 with, I think, 3 or 4 base kickers. I've had lots of encounters with him over the years. The farther we get into November, the better chance we have of catching him right here. We have a south-southwest wind. It's pretty warm. It's like 58 degrees. We'll see if he shows up. Well, that was a fun sit. Non-stop action the entire time we're there, and even after dark, they just kept walking out of the bedding area down that little road. I think we got out pretty clean. After it got really dark and we couldn't hear any more walking, we just slipped out of there. We left a stand in the tree this time. We're gonna have some south winds this next week, so gonna probably sit that again. It's such a nice spot. There's so many does right there that I think if we hunt there in the afternoon, we'll have a good chance at catching up with Fitzmagic. So we're gonna head back to the house and come up with a plan in the morning, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Back in southern Iowa, Kaleb's ground hunt continues.
That's a good way to end the night. As a 8 or a 9, I think we've had a few pictures of them on the tracks camera. The first one we originally put in here, Shay and I did. Fun encounter, looks like a mature buck. It's not the one we're after, so I'm really excited about tomorrow morning. I think we got high odds. Might sit where we went this morning, or might sit on a different farm, we'll see.
Thank you to Avery for filming me and being here. Thanks for Tyler for the opportunity to get to go in on this new farm, and it's all for moments like this, to be sitting right behind big mature bucks, and this is what we live for.
That's a good way to end the night. As a 8 or a 9, it's not the one we're after, so I'm really excited about tomorrow morning. I think we got high odds, but the action's picking up. It's November. I couldn't be more tickled about it, so.
Non-stop action the entire time we're there, and even after dark. We're gonna have some south winds this next week, so gonna probably sit that again. It's such a nice spot. So many does right there that I think if we hunt there in the afternoon, we'll have a good chance at catching up with Fitzmagic.
Each and every fall, hunters across the Midwest eagerly await the promise that November might bring. Depending on who you ask on a given day, it may be the best day ever or one of the worst. The rut is a roller coaster full of peaks and valleys, delivering emotions from the highest highs to the lowest lows. Yet this is exactly what draws us back each season. Illustrated by the events of the first 2 days, the realization of what could happen tomorrow continues to set in. At any moment, a chance could present itself, and it's up to us to seize it. Still on the front end of the bell curve, the incline of does and estrus is slow, offering opportunities to find a solitary buck. Tomorrow is a new day, and as we settle into our pace, we navigate carefully, step by step. After all, it's a long month ahead, and there's no need to rush when you are chasing November.